Good evening. We're back with some more Lord of the Rings LCG. And tonight is Over the Misty Mountains Grim on Nightmare difficulty. This quest is relatively forgiving. The first two quests of the Hobbit saga are Dungeons Deep and Caverns Dim, ramps up the difficulty because of the luck involved with the riddle mechanic. Do start with a giant in the staging area, but he can be avoided, especially with a deck that starts at low threat. So we got Dim Valley, which requires 10 progress to complete. At the end of the round, discard a card from hand. That forced effect does nothing because I have to discard my hand at the end of the round anyway. We're off to a good start with a Steward of Gondor and Ethir Swordsman. And I can get out a Knight of the Swan as well. Actually, both making use of Bilbo's resource, though those resources do have value in this quest, even without playing any campaign rewards. So not an especially good, very good tale. And a Warrior of Lossarnach and 2 Men of the West are going to go to waste here, which is unfortunate. So we're going to send just about everyone to the quest. And I'm facing 11 threat now. That is significant. So I can't commit more than 3 characters to the quest. Probably should have traveled to Dim Valley there instead. So Faramir, of course, is not committed to the quest. And now we're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I take 1 threat. And I'm going to use a Baggins resource here to place 5 progress on that quest, on that location. That'll help with the willpower, as it'll buff the 3 guys I commit to the quest. Once again, Faramir is exhausting, and we're going to commit a total of 4, 8, 12. So I discard all attachments in play, rip Steward of Gondor. And I'm going to use a Baggins resource here to drop the threat against me to 7. So I will make 5 progress. And that'll get out of the location lock of Narrow Ledge. Very thematic location. And move into Dim Valley. So we're moving along. There was a danger there of getting location locked and losing. The second Ethir Swordsman really helped with that. So I find another Steward of Gondor with Heed the Dream. Thinking about whether I want to use Heed the Dream's secondary function or not, and I decide that I will. And in this case, I choose a Warrior of Lossarnach over the 3rd Ethir Swordsman. So I do need some defense here. Don't have any Anfalas Herdsman either. So my guys are a bit fragile. But I have significant willpower that I can use now. Questing for 24 to 7, 17. Wait, was it 24? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 to 7 was 13. And yet another of these 10 progress to complete quests, and in this case I want to save my Baggins resources for later. Gonna check with Men of the West, see what's in the discard. So Warrior of Lossarnach there. So I'll go grab him. We're gonna have a whole army heading down to Goblin Town. And there is the third Ethir Swordsman. And in this case, I may want the Anfalas Herdsman over Knight of the Swan, because my guys are fragile. And I'm not 100% sure if there's any cards in this encounter deck that deal 1 damage to all allies. There was in the previous quest. So, gonna quest for probably enough to go into phase 3 here. Doomed 1 and raise threat by 4. That will be enough to clear the location. So I quested conservatively here. I could have moved on, but I opted not to. I usually make the more conservative play due to past experience with being too aggressive and losing. So, I don't see any reason not to move on here. Questing for 19, that's going to be 5 against. So that'll move on. All encounter cards get shuffled back into the deck and set aside for a secondary deck. And then we need to go look for the Great Goblin. He's a formidable enemy, but not against a full Outlands board setup. This is a Nightmare mode version, which prevents you from placing progress on the quest until you defeat him. And then I have to reveal 3 encounter cards, and I can only reduce that by 1. So I still have to reveal 2 encounter cards. On normal difficulty, it would just be 1. And I get a front porch, Goblin Runner, Dark Passages. And Dark Passages forces me to make front porch the active location, which means I cannot attack goblin enemies unless I spend 2 Baggins resources. Luckily, I do have 2 Baggins resources. So all those enemies are going to engage, and the Great Goblin needs to be defeated as soon as possible so that I can make progress on the quest. But I have plenty of attack power and guys ready to do that, so should not be a problem. The 6 attack will likely go on one of the cannon fodder guys. The 20 threat guys do go first, so I raise threat by 3 here. But I've got threat to spare. Defending player exhausts the character, no problem. And I'm just trying to select a target for the Great Goblin, trying to decide which target to select. He's going to bring another one into play. Engaged with a shadow card, so that adds an additional attack. It's going to be 2 damage. And then a 4th attack I put that on Erestor. Deal damage among my characters equal to the number of goblins, that's 4. This would be a problem, but it's not a big problem against a swarm deck. So I need to spend 2 Baggins resources or I'm not going to be able to damage any goblins because of the front porch. No problem. And now hopefully I can get enough to take out the Great Goblin in 1 turn. I need 15, so that's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, with a little left over. That will send the Great Goblin to the victory display. And with the little left over, I could take out 2 of the Goblin Runners. But I decide instead I'm going to take out the Goblin Bent Swords. Yeah, probably should have taken out the Goblin Runners, but no problem. So I just need 10 progress now, and that's going to end the game. And I have quite a lot more willpower than I'll need, so no problem. Probably 22 will do it. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 44, 48. Exhaust the characters. 48 to 7 is 41 progress, so it's going to be 4. Oh, I need 20, not 10, so no problem. That's going to end the game. A relatively forgiving and thematic quest, even on Nightmare difficulty. So thanks for watching.